expressed on this program are not necessarily those of WTJX, its board, staff, or underwriters.
Good day. You're listening to Ability Radio. I am one of your hosts, Kishma B. Francis of the Disability Rights Center of the Virgin Islands. The Disability Rights Center of the Virgin Islands is located in St. Croix and St. Thomas. Today I have a special guest, Genevieve Whitaker. If you could just tell us about yourself, Genevieve.
Well, greetings to you, Kishma. Greetings also to Rebecca and the WTJX team. I'm really glad to be here today. Yes, my name is Genevieve Whitaker, and I am the president and co-founder of the Virgin Islands Youth Advocacy Coalition, which was co-founded in 2009. I also serve as my daytime job, I serve as the executive director of the Virgin Islands Board for Career and Technical Education. I also own my own consulting company called the Whitaker Consulting Group, which I co-founded in 2008. So I'm really happy to be here today, and I'm really to speak about something that's really a topic that's near and dear to to me and to persons part of my youth organization, even our wider community. We're glad to be here today.
So tell us a little bit about the Virgin Islands Youth Advocacy Coalition.
Yes. So the Virgin Islands Youth Advocacy Coalition, as we acronym VIAC, it was basically co-founded when I was actually in my mid-20s. I recruited young people from across the Virgin Islands, from high school to college age students, and with the mission of, is one of the things I've always been passionate about, is uniting young people across the territory. So our original founders, who, as we said, looked at the landscape of youth leadership. We were also at that time, as we started the organization, quite involved in decolonization, human rights, very connected to a lot of efforts, because before I co-founded VIAC, I was quite active in organizations such as Amnesty International, United Nations Association, and other nonprofit groups that really address issues surrounding leadership, civics, human rights. And so we moved forward that mission. And a couple years later, we were involved in various legislative efforts that included our support of a bill sponsored by former Senator Positive Nelson, in creating what's known as the Legislative Youth Advisory Council. It's also, as you know, the Youth Senate, as well as a measure sponsored by Senator Noel Francis to support the establishment of the requirement of civics in order to graduate. We also did a report card once upon a time where we basically surveyed the senators to the report card efforts in terms of how the senators were, whether legislating or had policies that supported youth. We've also been quite involved with efforts to be represented internationally. So I've represented VIAC and even the community and wider, because I'm also a fellow for the United Nations International Decade for People of African Descent, where we continued our advocacy in the area of international, human rights advocacy. Because by way of background too, I am trained in the legal space in human rights law. And so then last year, just wanted to highlight, last year we really culminated with a lot of efforts to, even something we're always passionate about, is that getting our seniors and young people together. So last year we received a grant from AARP to support a digital literacy project known as the Digital Bridge Initiative, where we brought high school and college age students who are interested in technology, studying computer science, information technology. And we brought them together and basically showed the persons 50 plus how to get online. And right now we're also be launching this year a project in the area of digital financial literacy.
Oh, talk about the digital financial literacy. I'm sorry, I'm just tongue-tied this morning. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so we've always, one thing that VIAC from the very beginning, we've always had like our elders who have supported us, elder advisors. We have Dr. Carla Corbin, who was actually one of the former external affairs advisors for our government through many governors. So he's the one who has mentored us in our efforts to be connected even within CARICOM and OAS, all these different international and regional organizations. And then Dr. Tanzira Davis and Dr. Chen is also among our advisors. And so with that, I mentioned that because one of the things that we look forward to and engage with our young people is how we become connected to our elders. So AARP put it out. It's been a few years, well, that the National AARP office, and I also want to acknowledge AARP Virgin Islands, who is also supportive as well of our project. And essentially, the students were trained. Actually, we had a put together a curriculum. I want to acknowledge Dr. Michael Francois, who created our curriculum. And then we recruited the youth they went through trainings, with my team members from BIAC. And essentially, we recruited, put out information, and we had seniors across the Virgin Islands who were able to take part in learning about the safety of getting online. And then in that, too, they were learning lessons because the seniors at the same time use the opportunity in engaging with the youth to share important tidbits and everything like that, and which we have shared across our socials and stuff. You'll see some of the videos that we shared.
When you say youth, what age range are you talking about?
Great question, Kishma. Yes, so we've always been targeting youth basically age 14 to 30, and that's kind of been our range, which actually is even similar to both the Legislative Youth Advisory Council and the Youth Commission age groups for within the government, youth leadership within the government.
I like that age range to 30. That's awesome. So let's talk about the importance of voting.
And there's also where that was also from the beginning on set. We began to do research. We actually used the No Child Research and No Child Left Behind Act and various policies around civics being taught in schools. So VIAC was actually quite involved in the onset, even up to most recently, in engaging with the Department of Education, whereby with civics we acknowledge the fact that and unfortunately that report hasn't been done consistently. So we're still at a point where, you know, the data in terms of, understanding where we are is not quite there because that's some really, really old data, but it was essentially shown that very few, there were a minimal amount of civics courses being taught and very few even by the, the teachers who were highly qualified to teach it. So we did embark because we have taken opportunities to engage with teachers over the many years. So, I did in fact, especially in the beginning and throughout, different years, we've been involved in different efforts, but we were showing, you know, we've been providing various tools, and one of which is called iCivics. Former Justice Sandra Day O'Connor, she, founded iCivics because of the gap we have in the country with respect to young people voting. And that still persists in the Virgin Islands. So that's something we're still very laser focused on, engaging even with the election system. The Virgin Islands office, I formerly served as a deputy supervisor of elections for the St. Croix district. And there also in my capacity, I was really involved in youth efforts, making sure that we were engaging our young people in the voting process, and even afterwards. Is now you have election system office has a civics bowl and things of that nature.
Awesome. Awesome. So while we're talking about the importance of voting, let's talk about how voting affects policy.
It's a direct correlation because as we look out at representation, so when I speak to the youth, both the children and the young adults, about how important it is to vote, it has to do with even representation. And with that, and I had the fortune actually during law school to take part in one of my study abroad programs. This was in the country of Estonia, and where I saw firsthand, as well as my classmates, where the country was really supportive of the youth and really represented in both in politics, a young prime minister and young business leaders, and even when we met the dean of the head of school, dean of the law school. We couldn't believe that he was in charge. We think he was like an assistant. It was just good to see young people represented. And I say all that to say, the Virgin Islands, we have a ways to go in terms of as we look at our elected boards. For the most part, older, persons who are not necessarily representative of the millennial or the younger, generation. So that's a part of it too. And then going back to the civics discussion, because we, are still working on, I do want to acknowledge the fact that things are moving forward. Department of Education has in fact moved forward with, finally something we worked on for a long time, engaging them, advocating We do have a civics textbook for the Virgin Islands public school system, and I also do believe that private schools can benefit as well. And and so now you have resource within our public school system. But in terms now of the importance of voting, now that's where you have various teachers. Even one of my former students, I taught at the University of the Virgin Islands, and I know that they're social studies teachers who are in fact have civics initiatives, and I'm aligning with one of my former students in that regard.
I love that. I love that they even have a textbook. That's good.
Yes, yeah.
That's
It
good.
took many years, but it took a long time. It was, and we were pushing behind it because even we were like, no, this draft doesn't look, even when we saw a draft one time and we were like, no, we need to engage over this. Yeah.
I love it. So we talked about policy. How does voting create change?
Well, and as a former senator too, of course, I am also a former senator in the 34th legislature, and I do want to acknowledge, especially as we talk even about the importance of being one of the things I've always acknowledged the importance of respecting everyone's belief systems, but also being sure and being intentional about supporting those both in need as well as those for supportive services. So I saw that to say one of the things too that when we talk about change is that even in the context of something that have attempted to do too, as it pertains to disability rights, and one of which is even something as I'm some may say it's simple, but it could be a simple fix. But even how we represent information online, I was quite quite involved as a senator, even having hired someone who was um, visually visual impairment in terms of and how diligent he was part of how critical he was part of the team, and how it
Hmm.
was just about making sure that they had the resources they needed to do their job. And I feel that how voting can make change is ensuring that you're, vote electing persons who will have, you know, what we talk about the passion, to make sure they're inclusive of others, or the passion to drive certain, initiatives because maybe they have a background in community organizing, or they have a background that really is reflective of making things better for the people that you serve. So it's really important, who we elect, because change can also we've seen change too, right? Change can also be
Yes.
something that is very detrimental to us because we've seen it on a national level, international, and all how some changes has moved us further and further away from the goalpost of rights being respected and humanity, you know, human dignity and everything. Sometimes we feel like it's being attacked by certain changes.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. So, Vayak, how can the youth ages 14 to 30, how can they join the coalition? Is there a way they can get more information? If you could just tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, and so right now there are a few ways. Of course, well, we have a membership application that is available on our website, and our website address is biouth.org. That's biouth.org. We are on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, as well as TikTok. Just a little note here: we were on X, but for some reason, our X account was closed and wiped out. It's a whole other conversation about how this whole thing with the DEI. I guess our
Mm-hmm.
content, which was we shared a lot of content around human rights and all that kind of stuff, but that's where you can find us as well. And we have applications are open. Each one of us, I also do want to acknowledge I cannot do this alone without a small but strong team. I do want to acknowledge my vice president of media and communications, Jalissa Alvarez, and our secretary, Hope Samuel. And also want to also highlight we have others who've been part of this great effort, and we also have student leaders who are both in high school and in college as well. And so we do offer, time to time, we do offer opportunities. Each one of our board members has an opportunity to have a young person have a free 1 year membership, but we're also very, very open to persons joining and becoming part of our team. Because one of the things we're doing with our youth members is they get, various opportunities when our programs come up. They, get the ones the first to know, which is they work with us in helping us to move those programs forward and initiatives.
Oh, awesome. Do you have any upcoming projects and initiatives?
Yes, so I had spoken just a little briefly about the next grant we had received, and that is from First Bank, and it's our digital financial literacy program. And I do want to acknowledge Leon Perkins among the individuals who supported our efforts, because we'll be using his curriculum, along with Mr. Ray Paris for a financial literacy game app called Money Moves. He's two you know Virgin Islanders who have created an awesome platforms, whether a curriculum or a platform for young people to learn about the importance of their finances. So we'll be launching that soon. So yeah, definitely please subscribe to our website, follow us on our social accounts as well. And so you can definitely get the information. We'll be, sharing it. We do put out our ads and everything like that.
Awesome. Awesome, Genevieve. So, in the next 6 months, what do you want to see happen for VIAC?
The next 6 months, among our projects and everything that's happening, definitely the success of our financial literacy project. We also are planning again this summer, going into more late summer, early fall, to again launch our digital literacy program. But we also are working again, because I have worked in the past before, but it does require a lot of fundraising, is as it pertains to the United Nations. I do want put together a delegation. I'm working on that. Young people for us to get ready for next year's youth conference, as well as there are some other conferences that do happen later on in the year. Because what we've been working on is an initiative to get our young people to learn more about diplomacy, human rights, and to meet their peers from around the world. Also, involving CARICOM, OAS, they say all these different names, all these different acronyms, and they're representative of various groups that all have a youth component. So, like, even the Caribbean Youth Organization I'm affiliated with. We're affiliated with a number of youth organizations in the Caribbean as well.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
So, you said delegation. You want to take some youth
Yep.
delegates?
Yes.
Mm.
Yep. Delegates to the United Nations, as well as other entities as well.
Yeah,
Like
that's huge.
CARICOM and the other groups. Yeah, all the names I named out, basically starting off with the UN. Every year it's around April or spring, the UN holds the UN Youth Meeting in New York at the headquarters.
How long is that youth meeting for?
Usually, I mean, a lot of times maybe it's usually a day, but then with the UN, we always have a lot of, because I've been actually when I went to Geneva twice now when I was involved as a fellow, and well, still involved as a fellow because I still get still do send reports and all that kind of stuff. But in terms of what they try to do, well, we have organizations and I've been part of that. We would organize what I call side events. So the young people get to, do social events in around New York, so that they'll also have an opportunity to, socialize and stuff, and meet the other peers. It's a fun time. It's not all the seriousness of it, and come on, just a learning lesson in how to present at the United Nations level and everything like that. But there's also joy in it, so we have some fun as well.
So, VIAC, is it only open to the students on St. Croix, or is it open to all the students in the territory?
All the students of the territory, because we right now actually have active student leaders from both the St. Croix and St. Thomas Union districts.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice, nice,
yeah, yeah,
nice,
yeah,
nice. So, if you could
yeah.
just
And our
go ahead, Genevieve, I'm
Yeah,
so sorry.
yes. No, no, I was going to say, and even our financial literacy program will be offered to students in both, and just forgot to mention with that, we're focusing on both high school and college age students will be eligible to take part in the financial literacy program.
You talked about the money moves in the financial
Yeah.
literacy program. I mean, it sparked my interest because you said it's like a gaming app.
Yes, yes, Mr. Ray Paris, who's even aligned. I've been aligning him with, Department of Education and just other groups, all the stakeholders. I'm also involved with my day job, and it's a gaming application for children from age third grade to seniors, and they basically learn, through a gaming, system, the importance of finances, and then he has different challenges and stuff. So we're coordinating, because I also want to add a game element to our project.
Nice. I love it. I love it because it keeps the youth interested.
Yes, absolutely.
I love it.
Also, I want to give up my email address, well, our general email address, which I do myself and the board members have access to. It's VIUvote. That's VIUvote at gmail.com. You could also message us, via email as well, via that email. I'll get it.
Awesome. So, Genevieve, I have a tough question for you. You've done so much. You have done so much over the years. What message would you like to give to the youth?
The message,
Talking from your younger self.
definitely from my younger self, I would say remaining steadfast and really considering building and being part of building or reshaping home. Uh, we're not always necessarily welcome because, in the context of young people, we talk about the brain drain, but to the young people, visualize how you can be part of just making the Virgin Islands, continue to make it better and how you can be part of improving the Virgin Islands as a young person. So, and not to give up, to always be determined, be diligent, be steadfast, and things will come as you do your best in everything that you do.
That's awesome. Thank you, Genevieve. So, if you could just go ahead and give the listening audience your information again on ways to contact you and all of that stuff before we wrap up.
Yeah, so definitely our website is viu.org. You can find us on social. That's on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, as well as TikTok. And and you'll find it under BIAC as well. Yeah, you Advocacy, you'll find it that way as well. And also to our general email address is viuvote@gmail.com. And also give my cell phone number out too. We have a dedicated phone as well, and that is 340-203-4878. Again, that's 340-203-4878. That's our phone as well. So look forward to if you're, person interested. And we also welcome adults. We have definitely membership for adults as well, because we have programs, especially as we talk about the delegations and other efforts. We always seek, adult volunteers and others to, and also just give us advice. We always appreciate the support of, everyone in the community.
Sorry, can you go back and talk about that, the adults?
Oh, yes, yes, yeah, we are definitely
You
open to adult members to join our organization from the brave perspective of just serving as volunteers as we, and even, for example, with this delegation is because I tell people it's not just about us just raising monies to travel to these different places, but there's going to be an element of preparation as well. Uh, and we're also going to be, good news. I just want to also share that the Legislative Youth Advisory Council, which as a senator in the 34th, I helped to restore it, especially along with Senator Kamala Carrion, where we essentially were able to get that restarted. Then now in the 36th legislature, they have reinstated it again, and we are engaging with the Senate President, Senator Milton Potter, who we thank him and all the other senators for moving it forward as well.
Oh,
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
Awesome. So,
yeah. So
see, there's an
yeah, definitely.
opportunity for adults
No,
to volunteer.
yes. Oh, yeah. Because even with the Legislative Youth Advisory Council, I was an adult mentor. We had two in each district. So we're part of, the volunteerism as it pertains to our organization, as it pertained to when we were also very involved in recruiting young people who became members of the original, well, the first set of members of the youth council.
Awesome. Awesome, Genevieve. Awesome. As always, it's great talking to you. So, we want to engage with you more, Genevieve, because the youth BIAC, I think, could be a very good segue for our students, especially those who are interested in politics, interested in civics. So we will definitely have to connect with you. So the Disability Rights Center, for some of you who are listening to us for the first time, we have two locations, one in St. Croix, next to the former Kmart in West, and one in St. Thomas above Deli Deck. If you would like to visit our website, you can visit us at www.drcvi.org. If you would like to just call us, our phone number is 340-776-4303. Genevieve, any last words?
Well, thank you so much, Kishma, and to the WTJX team. thank you again for this opportunity, and I look forward to, whether it's more interviews, but also to really supporting the work and working with Disability Rights Center and other groups. I mean, I'm really excited about the way forward, and again, thank you for this opportunity. Wish everybody all the best, and and look forward to our next steps.
Thank you, Genevieve. So, Ability Radio has been brought to you by the Disability Rights Center of the Virgin Islands. Thank you very much for listening, and thank you, Genevieve, for joining. Have a great day.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily those of WTJX, its board, staff, or underwriters.